Hi, welcome back to the Career Success Academy. My name is Steve, and we cover a variety of topics here that help yourself to advance your career and get that next job. Now, as the economy goes through its ups and downs, we know that it becomes a little more important to get things right the first time because the competition is growing for the different jobs that are out there. So today we've got what I think is really an exciting topic because we have not talked about this before. We've done a lot of videos, and if you haven't taken time to subscribe to our channel, please do. You'll find that we have more than 4 dozen videos out there. And what we're going to talk about today, which makes this so important, is what happens when you go to a job fair. What is a job fair? And why is this so important to you? Now, we're going to talk about 2 different things. We're going to talk about the strategy involving a job fair. And then we're going to talk about the actual execution once you get there, of why it's so important and how you should prepare and what you should do. Now, let me take a moment to explain this. A job fair is when you have a group of employers who get together in one place, usually in some sort of room, big room, where they have tables, and you have the opportunity to go to that one place, that one large room or hall or convention center, whatever it might be, and you have the opportunity to present yourself to these companies who are all looking for people. So I want you to take a step back and conceptually understand their perspective. Not your perspective, but their perspective. Their perspective is to walk out of there with a handful of good candidates that they can pursue to fill openings at their organizations. Now, once you've understood their goals, it makes it easier to understand what you have to do to become one of that handful of qualified candidates that they want to hire. What I'm talking about is when you go to a job fair, it's very different than just writing a resume and submitting it online. It's very different from doing that screening interview where you've sent a resume in and somebody contacts you and has a series of questions that are going to qualify you. And it's all done either over the phone or it's done virtually. But basically, it's a short conversation that's going to rule you in or rule you out. No second chances in that, and there's no second chances at the job fair. I don't know who actually said this at the time, but the quote is something like, you only get one chance at making a good first impression. And you only do. That's so true. So everything we're going to talk about in what to do to prepare when you go to that job fair has to do with understanding what the people on the other end are looking for. Imagine, if you will, you're that person, that HR person, or maybe 1 or 2 of the hiring managers that are looking for people, standing at a table, waiting for qualified people to walk by, to introduce themselves and present their credentials to you. And then those people are now going to tell you about themselves so that you, as that hiring manager, as that HR person, can make a decision as whether or not this person who's standing in front of you is qualified. Say the same thing a different way. You have a chance at a job fair to let your personality present your skill set. The fact, all those soft skills we always talk about, the fact that you can communicate, the fact that you can present yourself in a way that's compelling. That's what we're talking about for the job fair. Now, what is it that you have to do when you find out that there's going to be a job fair? And by that I mean there are certain things that you should be doing. Tip number 1, find out who's going to be at the job fair before you ever go there. Have a good feel for the 2 or 3 organizations, companies, not-for-profits. Know who you want to talk to before you even get in that room. And you may add to that list. Maybe there's 3 companies that you want to talk to, or 2 not-for-profit organizations you want to discuss your credentials with. You walk in and you find 1 or 2 others that go, you know, these are also within my experience, within my knowledge base. Maybe I should stop and talk to these organizations as well. Do your research, find out who's going to be there and what they're looking for. If they have openings that they're actively, aggressively trying to hire for, and you have that skill set, you have that knowledge base, well, why aren't you going there? You should go there. That's your research. Number 2, you want to bring, as I mentioned, that resume. But what many people also do, and I know it's kind of old-fashioned, old-timey, nobody talks about it anymore, have a business card. Okay? 2 things happen with business cards. The first one is you're giving them another opportunity to remember who you are and that they liked you. They stick a business card in their pocket or they attach it to the resume. But it's a way of standing out from all those other people that they talk to. There's something else. And again, this is old school. But if you hand someone a business card, then they will tend to try to hand a card back to you. Now, maybe it's literature about their company. Maybe it's their own personal business card, a variety of different things. But what I'm trying to say is you have a much better chance if you give a business card to get a business card so you can remember who you talked to and that you had a good conversation or you did not have a good conversation. But at least you have a chance of remembering. Tip number 3. Nowadays we call it your elevator pitch. Okay? Well, what we're really talking about is your ability to discuss yourself. And I don't just mean start with where you were back in elementary school and how you got to here. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. But what I do care about is how you see yourself as a possible match for an opening that we have. You have approximately 20 to 30 seconds to tell me who you are, what you do, and why I should care. And the why I should care is that I have said that I'm looking for someone just like you, and here you are. Okay? Business cards, resumes, elevator pitch. Your elevator pitch should go along with whatever you have on the resume. Feel free to point to something on your resume or point it out verbally so they can see it on your resume and you say, can you see where I was just at such and such organization and I have down there that I was working with ABCXYZ? And they go, yes, I see that. Well, you're helping them understand that you are qualified. You've got the experience. I mean, why not do that? It also shows that you're on top of your game. Tip number 4, dress professionally. Oh my goodness gracious. When you're at a job fair, even if the job fair is on campus for the university that you're going to, you don't show up in sandals and shorts. You don't show up in an old t-shirt. You show up looking professional so that you can make an impression and they will remember who you are. I mentioned before engaging and networking and such. If you know a little bit about their organization, you should feel free to engage them in conversation and be able to ask them questions about the organization that shows that you're interested in their organization. Again, this is your first impression. Maybe you're going to spend 30 seconds there, but if they like you, maybe you're going to spend 5 or 8 minutes there. What on earth are you going to talk about in those 5 or 8 minutes? You're going to talk about how you think you're a perfect fit for the organization, and they're going to discuss with you, if they like you, why they think you're a perfect fit for their organization. Remember, the whole idea behind recruiting is that they want to recruit you to go to their particular organization. Job fairs, you're not going to discuss salary. You're not going to discuss benefits. You're not going to discuss a lot of things. You are going to discuss why you are a fit for them, and they should be talking about why they are a fit for you. Career path, chances for advancement, the whole thing. They should be selling you on their organization if they like you. Okay, so why don't we take a moment to take a breath and to recap exactly what we've been talking about. In the beginning, I said that this was both strategic and tactical, the execution. And we talked about these tips of how you can be prepared and what you should do when you are at the job fair. The one thing that I want to leave you with that wasn't on my list of things to do when you're there, or to do the research and all that before you ever go, is to remind you that one of the reasons you ask for that business card, or at the very least getting the email address of the person that you're interacting with, is so you can send them a follow-up note that says, thank you very much for spending the time to talk to me at the job fair. I am interested in working with your organization and learning more about your organization, and I look forward to having further conversations at your convenience. Short little email letting them know those key points. You're thanking them for taking the time to talk to you, you're letting them know that you're interested, and you're letting them know that you're anxious to have another conversation with them. It's another way of separating yourself from the other people they may have seen. I want to thank you for being here today and taking the time to watch this video. Please like this video and subscribe, as I mentioned before, to our channel if you haven't already subscribed. Thank you for being here. We're looking forward to seeing you on our next video. Take care. Again, I'm Steve. Bye-bye.